Here are 3 reasons why to subscribe to Fridge Financials on YouTube. Number 1, it is free, which is the best price that you can pay for this kind of content. 2, I am completely transparent with all of my investments. And number 3, I have a variety of educational videos every single week. Now let's get on with the video. What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another Fridge Financials video. And in today's video, we talk budgeting. And as you can see by the title of this article from NerdWallet, most Americans have a monthly budget, but many are still overspending. So in today's video, we're going to talk about budgeting. I'm going to show you my personal monthly budget and how to track everything with an awesome spreadsheet, just like I did from before. So if you're excited for today's video, make sure that you smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so, and turn on the bell notifications. Your support, again, has been absolutely awesome. So I want to analyze a little bit more about how budgeting works, give you some tips, tricks that I'm doing, and everything else, and then hopefully you can walk away with some important information or just some new knowledge in today's video. So NerdWallet published this article. Again, it is almost a year ago, so it's not the most up-to-date one, but it's still relatively new in terms of articles about budgeting. And they talked about how basically the survey found that 83% of Americans say they overspend, and a similar proportion who have a monthly budget, which is 84%, say they exceed it. Now, again, the point with budgeting is to take your paycheck and to allocate it into certain resources, whether it's expenses, whether it's investments, whether it's whatever, to make sure that you are not putting all your money into one area, basically, like expenses, bills, those kind of things. Budgeting is a really important thing that I don't think as many people take advantage of as they should. The idea behind it is that way you know where every single dollar goes from your paycheck. If you're spending just randomly on this, spending on this, you don't know where your money is, and in the end of the month, possibly you could be in a deficit, which is not a good thing. So this article talks about basically, about what the Americans are doing, about the younger generation with it. Nearly 1 in 5 Americans think their generation is bad at managing money, and 3 in 5 Americans think that their generation has had a harder time making ends meet than any other generation. I mean, again, as inflation is up and up, the things become more expensive. And if you don't get those raises, those income boosts, it makes it difficult. It definitely does, for sure. Again, most Americans, 92%, have one or more financial areas they want to prioritize. The most common of these is emergency savings, as you can see by investments, afterwards, then retirement planning, so on, so on, so on, and so forth. But then we get into this part about the overspending. So nearly 3/4 of Americans, 74%, have a monthly budget. Millennials are most likely to say this, 83% versus 76% of Gen Zers, so on, so on, so forth. Again, the younger generations might be more aware of budgeting and everything else. Maybe there's more tools that we're using. I don't really know why, but maybe they just are starting to understand more of it. I know that the school systems across the country are making personal finance a requirement to graduate, so definitely could also have an impact on that as well. Some Americans are willing to go without a budget. I don't know how. That's kind of wild to me. 23% of Americans say they feel they need a budget to get by every month. And then we go into more about going over budget is nearly universal. According to the survey, Americans who have a monthly budget, 84% say that they've gone over the budget at some point. More than 2 in 5 of those who have gone over budget say they usually pay for additional purchases they make with a credit card. Oh, okay. And again, if you're not aware, credit cards have those insane interest rates of like 20%, 30%, whatever it could possibly be. So if you're overspending on your budget with a credit card and you don't have the money to pay the whole credit card bill off, that's interest that's going to be eating away at your money for the next month and the next month, and who only knows how it's going to go. Again, obviously, groceries and dining out is a huge factor of it. The cost of goods like that has been like insane with groceries and everything else. Inflation obviously is a contributing factor. Over the last year, the cost of food at home has increased by 8.4%, and food away has increased by 8.8%. This is as of last year. Now the numbers, I'm hoping, have come down a little bit more. You can probably look more into the Fed data about the spending and about the CPI data and all that stuff. But, I mean, it's not a surprise that groceries and dining out is definitely a huge contributor for it. So, when it comes to budgeting, yeah, people have a budget, but most Americans are still going over it, which is like, okay, what's the point of the budget if you go over it, right? Now, there's 2 major types of budgets that, people talk about, whether it's social media, whether it's through educational videos like this one here. And the one that, is one of them that's based on here with SoFi, which talks about it, is the 70-20-10 budget formula. Basically what it does is it takes your after-tax income into 3 buckets. 70% of your after-tax income goes into living expenses, 20% for savings and debt, and 10% for additional savings and donations. So that way you still have 70% of it goes towards your expenses, and then an extra 20% goes into savings or also paying off your debt. And then 10% for additional savings, maybe building more of an emergency fund, putting more into investments. This one isn't as common as the other one that we have, which is the 50-30-20 rule. The 50-30-20 rule is definitely one of those ones that I see majority of people talk about on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it is, right? So the 50-30-20 rule for budgeting that a lot of people are following or maybe should hopefully think about getting into is that 50% goes towards the money that you need, the expenses that you need, rent, food, groceries, gas, all those kind of things. Those are expenses that you need. 30% goes towards wants, which, like, hey, maybe I want the new Louis Vuitton bag. Maybe I want this thing here. Maybe I want to go out and get food. Maybe I want to go to the movies. And then 20% goes towards savings. Now, that 20% towards savings can go towards, the high yield savings account. It can go towards investment accounts. It can go into different aspects of, again, making it be into savings to be producing income through whatever it is, whether it's a savings account, investment account, or anything else. So these are the most common ones that usually you hear about. The 50-30-20 rule is usually the one that's the most common. Basically, half of your income after tax should go towards your needs. Rent, gas, car loans, whatever it is. 30% goes towards the wants, whatever's left over, then 20% goes into savings. So that way at least you're still building up your savings account a little bit as you go. Now, since I talked about a spreadsheet earlier, I will talk about another one here. And again, it's from Elise at Bigger Table Budgets, of course, as always. So if you're watching this video, make sure you go drop her a follow on Instagram, as I already have been following her for the longest time. And also make sure to subscribe to her on YouTube. She's got 33 subscribers. I can't believe it because last time, I think the first video we ever made together, I think the video I showed, it was like 5, and now it's at 33. So an absolutely phenomenal job. A lot of great content here, as you can see, a lot of the shorts and everything else. So again, she is somebody who makes some insane spreadsheets. This one I'm going to show you has so much more to it that I haven't fully developed how to use all of it yet. But I'll show you the basics, and then you can take it from there if you reach out to her and everything else. So Elise, shout out to you as always for your amazing spreadsheets here. And so this is the spreadsheet basically for a monthly budget breakdown. Now this one should be for April, not for, there's a problem, whatever. So I can't change it right now. I got to figure out what the problem is with that. But again, for the most part, you can just change this. We'll figure that out at a different time. But so this is for March, but these are actually my April numbers here. And as you will see with this spreadsheet here, it tracks everything that you could ever ask for in any kind of budgeting tracker that you need. I know that Intuit had the budgeting tracker. I think that went down recently for whatever reason. So if you're looking for an alternate one, hit up Elise with this one because look how cool this is, right? So I broke this down, or she breaks it down into income, bills, expenses, savings, and debt, of course. So I've kind of laid out most of what my bills are. I'm going to run you through the numbers, and you're going to watch how the spreadsheet actually is going to change as I put more and more data in here. First thing is that I put in 2 paychecks. So again, as you know, I'm a high school math teacher. I have 2 paychecks. I get paid bi-weekly. So the 5th would be the one coming up on this Friday. Today is March 30th. And then the 19th is 2 weeks after that. Usually my paychecks, I expect about $2,000. But I do also tutor for the school after school 2 days a week. And that provides a little bit extra income in those 2 weeks. So my actual paychecks come in at about $2,160 for each of them, which, as you can see, tells you, it populates the spreadsheet, and I'm up $320, actually more than I expect in my budget, of course. Again, it's always better to have more money than less money. Again, that's because, the tutoring hours definitely vary because you might have no school on a Monday. We might have a snow day. I know that we have April break coming up, so these numbers might change a little bit more as we go. But for today's video, I'm just going to keep them the way they are for now. So that's kind of like the first thing is to talk about what your income is. All different types of income you have, whether it's, your side job, your main job, whatever it is. Now over here I broke down what my bills actually are. So my first one is the rent bill, which is $1,325. That will be coming in April 1st, April Fools on Monday. Again, last month's was $1,301. Now the reason why my rent bill changes month to month is because it includes the internet bill and it includes the water and sewage as well. And the water and sewage obviously changes on a month-to-month basis based on how much water I'm using. So this month I've used a little bit more water than before with my girlfriend that I live together with. So the next one is the gas bill. Gas bill usually is about $50. This one comes in at $50.62, and that'll be coming up in April. My electric bill, I shoot for about $100. This one actually for electric came in at $84.27. It's getting a little bit warmer out, so I'm not really running the heat as much, so that one's a little bit nice as well. My car insurance, I pay every 6 months to save money on that one instead of paying month to month like I know some people do. If you have the ability to pay the 6 months up front, you do save yourself a little bit of time. I think for me it's like $20 a month, but it saves me $20 a month for 6 months. You're saving $120 on your insurance. So my insurance monthly for my car is $106, and my renter's insurance, same thing, paid up front, it's $14.19. So that populates my bills to come out to be at $1,580.08, and it deducts it from the income, so I have this much remaining as a result. Now, over to expenses. So I have 2 credit cards. The first one is my personal credit card that I have, and that one I usually try to spend about $200 a month on miscellaneous things, just to kind of have it to keep building my credit score and everything else. But this one came in actually at $446.73. The reason why it came in so much higher is we just did our taxes like last week, and I had to pay $250 for my accountant to finalize my taxes and everything. So that's where the extra $250 basically is I paid for my account on that one. But I'm getting a refund, so it's all good. But that's why I put on my credit card to get the points and everything else, which is great. Vacation fund, we are building a vacation fund. We are going away in June, and instead of paying the whole fund up front, we were able to work with a firm, and a firm has 6 months of 0 interest payments that we are doing right now. So that way we can budget more accordingly. So it's $422 a month for about 6 months. So, you can do the math on that one if you want to. My credit card too. So I have my second credit card is my joint credit card with my girlfriend, again, because we put our common expenses there, food, anything else we want to pay for as we're going out together, doing whatever. And we do that also. This credit card builds us points to help for our vacation fund and everything else. So we kind of use them together. This one is about $492.50 right now for the month, so a little bit less than $500. But again, that includes all my major expenses. Again, food is the biggest one for me on that one. My gas for my car came in about $35 this month instead of $30 because gas is a little bit higher up. I am getting a haircut this month, and my subscriptions, I only have one subscription, which is for Xbox Live as someone who's a gamer. So the other subscriptions are on my girlfriend's account for like Netflix and Hulu and all that. So these are my bills, these are my expenses, and then the last one is my savings. Now, as you can see, I actually have 4 different savings accounts, or 4 different savings options I have here. First thing is I put $1,000 a month into my investments. Now, I put $250 every single week into the S&P 500 on my brokerage account of Robinhood. So every week, as soon as the market's opening on Monday morning or at some point during the day on Monday, I put in an automated $250 every week for the month into the S&P 500s to dollar cost average and to build my portfolio up. For crypto, I put about $20 a week in, not too crazy, but about $10 each in Bitcoin and Ethereum to again give me that exposure again. As Bitcoin is at these all-time high levels, I withdrew most of it, but now I'm starting to build the position back up to dollar cost average in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'll come back to my savings account, my peer-to-peer lending. I put in $25 a month, a whopping $25, just to experiment with it a little bit more to see how it goes. And then my savings account, I'm basically left with $400, give or take. This one, I'm actually only at $192 for the budget left for the month. So this spreadsheet right here tracks, again, what I'm at right now with what's left over. So $192.83. So I can put $192.83. And that leaves me with, again, a $0 based budget. So I have no money left over. Again, unless some other expense goes up, which might possibly happen, but whatever money's left over, I'm going to be putting into a high yield savings account to then grow interest and hope for the best on that one. Now, as you can see here, the nice thing is that I have zero debt. If you didn't know this from my other previous videos, I have paid off my car. I paid that off about a year early. I don't have any student loan debts. I have no credit card debt because I paid off it in full every month. So I have literally no debt. So with having no debt here, I'm able to really prioritize my savings and my investment accounts. And as you can see here, up in this little pie chart here, my savings is 30%. My expenses is 33%, and then my bills are about 37%. Now, that's very, very well split and very, very even. It doesn't follow the 70-20-10. It's not the 50-30-20. It's a 30-30-30, like a 33-33-33. It's like very, very evenly diversed out, which to me is kind of crazy. My savings is going to be basically matching my bills and my expenses, which I think is awesome. So that's where I'm at right now, and that's what this spreadsheet shows me, which I think is very, very cool. That I can see the breakdown of 30% savings, 36% bills, 33% expenses. So I can really see, like, okay, if this number goes really, really low, okay, where am I spending? Where's my spending going and everything else? Now, this is the basics of the spreadsheet. This is the basics of it. There's a lot more tabs here where you can track your expenses on the month. You can do a yearly one, HSA. Like, there's so many things here I haven't even explored. This is like an investment overview if you want to look at that one. This one right here, again, it talks about loans, paying off loans early. There's just so many tabs here, Elise, and I appreciate you doing it. It's just way too much for me to look at right now to explain. In this video, it's 16 minutes long. But yeah, so right now I'm rocking basically a 33, give or take, budget spreadsheet, which is insane. So shout out to you, Elise. I can really see where my money is going, which is absolutely awesome. But yeah, so again, if you're not budgeting, start budgeting, because you can know where every single dollar, every single penny goes for these paychecks here, so you can know exactly what it is you're getting yourself into and where your money goes. And that way you can track to see where can I cut back, where can I put more money into, and those kind of things. So thank you so much for watching today's video. It's a 17-minute long video, of course. Again, shout out to you, Elise. If you're not following her on Instagram and YouTube, make sure you go ahead and do that, because she produces awesome content. And also, if you're not following Fridge Financials, what are you doing? We're at 67 awesome subscribers. Again, thank you guys so much for your support, as always. Again, some of these videos are getting absolutely fantastic views. If you made it this far in the video and you're not subscribed, though, tell me why. Like, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Thank you so much, guys, as usual. I hope you guys are making money in the market, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video.